2007, again with the MCCIA, with my old team again, we started this exercise that let's do the second equation. IT is a given now. So IT plus art and culture is equal to animation and gaming. And this is what we thought, that animation and gaming has to succeed in Pune. I'm very proud, very happy that we have some young people here. We have Anuj Tandon from RoloQ. Is he here? Yeah, Anuj, garage startup of 5 people, has won the topmost award in Barcelona Mobile Fair, which is the annual fair, for their product called Flick Tennis, which runs on an iPhone and an iPad. So there you are, this conducive environment. Again, we went through the same process of IT, the policy, the infrastructure, and everything else. Then we have Oril, Samir Bose, who are extraordinary people in terms of animation. They have developed a software which shows an animation film as though each frame is painted by Vincent van Gogh or Charles Monet or Raja Ravi Verma, and they've got a huge amount of international awards, and that's Samir Bose. And now they are doing the books, children's books, into e-books with animation. Fantastic job, and it's an Apple application they're doing. So those who want to do this exercise should really get back to him. We have Chetan Deshmukh here. He's the VFX guy. Chetan, you're tall, but if you his specialty is VFX. A lot of Marathi and Hindi films have their VFX work done here through him. Those of you who have seen a movie called Chicago in maybe 10, 12 years ago, Richard Gere, Renée Zellweger, who won the Oscar for that. There's a beautiful cabaret dance of Renée with white flare dress, and Chetan did the VFX for that, showing up multiple images of Renée doing that. It was one of the best scenes of Chicago. So we've got so much of talent, guys. I step back.
Oh, even I step back. Now the forum is open for you to ask questions. Can you please pass on the mics? You just raise your hand and we'll reach out.
I used to head the sales operations for AT&T, and I remember talking to you at that point of time.
Oh, God.
You were at Logic, and I was amazed at the fact that to be heading a company and still to be so much involved in so many aspects of it. I think we never had an opportunity to meet face to face, but I really came away impressed, and that's something that stayed a long time in my mind. So just a compliment to you on that part. My question, Anand, is obviously success is obviously very important, and you've had a string of successes in your own life and career. What are some of the excellent examples of failure which brought in learnings which helped in your subsequent successes also?
Yeah, sometimes failure with people, I'll be honest. As in being in the armed forces, you got to trust your person because he gives life for you or for your word. There's no question of giving a written note. You just give an order and the guy goes and sometimes doesn't come back. So by nature, we are trusting, okay? So sometimes it did happen that, you put a full faith and trust in someone and then that hits you hard, okay? And then sometimes for a minute, you think, oh my God, do I give up my theme of trusting people or do I continue? It did happen to me 2-3 occasions. Fortunately, it didn't impact the business. In one case, it almost did, but then we recovered from it. But that's, I would say, those were some failures, I would say. But that's life. You just have to deal with it. If you have enough other people who can take care of that, it's fine. But yeah, that's one area. But trust people, I'm telling you this. Yeah, that's the only way you can grow multiple times. Anand is easy. Yeah.
So I'm too junior to.
No. My granddaughter calls me Anand. So and the missus will call me Anand. Three of them.
So in your biography, one pervasive theme I noticed is your sensitivity to doing justice to family, and from compared to the times that you set up all these ventures, right now I would say my view is that there is a huge social change that has undergone in terms of joint families having broken down, nuclear families happening. Another dimension of social change is like the infrastructure challenges within a city and intercity travel. But at the same time, there's also a huge communication advancement in terms of telephony of all types. So that on one side, and on the other hand, the challenge of, the benefits of teamwork, which you kind of mentioned in very great depth. So how viable do you think it is for a company today to think of a distributed workforce, like not the employees are not necessarily within the city, or they don't have to travel, like you said, to Silicon Valley. They may be anywhere in the world or anywhere in the country, and they work remotely. So there's hardly any physical constraint. So do you think?
Yeah, good question. I'll split it into perspective of whatever age you are in. I still pay a lot of importance because I think it's the family which stands by you all the time. And I think very often we take things for granted from the family. And I think we mustn't. We have to be conscious that, in fact, now if you see my LinkedIn profile, this week itself I've cut out all my activities. It just says title retired life. So therefore I want to continue that. I want to devote time with my granddaughters, which I've not been able to do so more often earlier. I think parents, even when I was in the Navy, and the sailors, we used to inspect their lockers and things as part of our job as a captain and things. I used to insist that they have a photograph of their parents stuck up there. We used to have all of these posters from, they were, you can imagine that they were sailors. But I said, somewhere in the corner you've got to have a photograph of your parents, because they are responsible for what you are now. And you have to be conscious. And at least once a day you have to look at their photograph, wherever they are. And it had a huge, I felt, had a huge impact on them as a person. So therefore the same thing happens here as well. I think even as a head of an organization, it's inhuman to drive people to 12 o'clock at night and things like that. No. Let them manage their work well. Even if something is required to be done, you should be able to take that can with your counterpart, whether US or anywhere else, or your customer, to say that I will manage my work in such a way that this is the best that we can do. As long as you deliver well, deliver correctly. In fact, very often, that's why the process I kept on saying, if you don't have a good process, you spend so much unnecessary time doing things and waste time. And therefore people stay till late hours. If you follow the process correctly, right up front. In fact, all my organization, whether it was a startup or it was a multinational, and you could see that I kind of yo-yoed between the two very often. We had a process set up before any individual joined the organization. Even in startup like Pace, before any single person was recruited, we had a process set up, not only for developmental work, but for a process for HR, process for traveling, you name it. We had a documented process for it. So people came into a very well organized organization. And what we found, that was very good for scaling up. Because this is where people then said, oh, I got a small group. I'll do so. The process when I am beyond 60, 70 people, that's too late. because you already set up some very, very wrong precedences and things like that. Coming to your second question about the distributed thing, what binds together is a value system. I'll give you an example of Motorola. They had 4 or 5 very, very clear-cut value principles. And they had a card, in fact, I still carry that with my phone. I was so impressed with that. They ran like a family. Bob Galvin, who was number 2 in the Galvin family, was the chairman of the organization for a long time, and he really brought up Motorola. And in his time, he ran the whole family of 200,000 people, 35 countries, 85 locations. And the binding force in all this was the value system. And all the senior people or every manager was a living example of those value systems. And we had absolutely zero tolerance on the values. Anyone missing out on that just goes the same hour outside the organization. Can't stay. And we followed that very strictly. And I think that was tremendous impact, value system. And that really binds together across the organization. And then value is human value. So it transcends all nationalities, religion, races.
My name is Aarti. So I have 2 questions for you. One is, as most of us who are in the younger age group, nowadays we see the trend that people, they don't want to work, they don't want to do a job. They want to go into entrepreneurship, want to start up with their own company. So what is that quality that mentors or people who we need to tie up with, or people who can support us, look into you? What is that quality that they look for them to get started? And second is, when you see, you gave an example of your achievement, wherein you helped your colleagues, the 7 people, to build the team from 35 to a number of 800. So especially during that period, those were like 10 to 12 years back. I'm sure that time also this mindset must be there in people's minds, where every parent want their child to work for a big name, a big brand. So, it helps in the social way also, monetarily also, social way in the sense, they get good proposals, it's a fact. So especially during that time, when you are looking for a mate, then you require to display your positives, and this was one of them, which company you're working for. So how do you actually convince those people to work for you when you are a startup? Apart from convincing them what their career path is going to be, and what they are going to be a few years after, but right now, how do you?
Good question, Adi. I think very relevant. When we did the startup of Yojana, which was 1989, I told you I had to really convince the parents to let the son go and join, and that was the level we had gone. But in 2000, when we started Pace of Silicon, we really, as I said, we had no organization. We just had £2 million, that's all. And we had to build the organization. So we went a lot different places, Hyderabad, Pune, and Bangalore, mainly these 3. And I'll be honest to you, within about a week's